It's Madden NFL 22, and the question is, are you ready for some football? It's the Ravens and the Patriots, and it's coming up next.
EA Sports coverage of the National Football League brings us to Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Mass. A moment ago, the pride of Massachusetts, the Patriots, introduced to this, as always, sold-out crowd as they get set to go head-to-head with the Baltimore Ravens. Brandon Gaudin alongside, as always, my partner Charles Davis. And CD, in the few moments here before kickoff, let's give these folks at home a look at these two offenses by the numbers. What stands out to you?
Brandon, I just continue to be amazed by the analytics of the game, and it's an area where I continue to concentrate and study because I'm still trying to figure out how coaches and coordinators can really crunch the numbers and find where exactly on the field the defense is vulnerable. It's the game within the game. And if you really dive into it, it can be endlessly fascinating.
Here's the punter, Jake Bailey, ready to do the honors. And we are underway in Foxborough. On the return, Devin Duvernay. And no chance to get away as they'll get him down at about the 17-yard line. The Ravens offense going to work, and as usual, it's Lamar Jackson, the former MVP of the league, at the helm.
Early part of his career, defenses really had to focus on his running ability, and they still do. But now, he's turned himself into a true dual-threat quarterback. When he plants his cleats in the ground and turns it loose, good things happen downfield.
And they'll begin by running the option. First down and more for Jackson. And he's free going down the left side. It's a foot race. And all the way in for a Ravens touchdown. Well, I mean, Lamar Jackson, what more can we say at this point? He is a living, breathing highlight reel. And go ahead and tack on that last play to the list of big ones by number 8.
I think defensively, when you look at a play like that, that's when everyone looks at their teammates and starts shaking their heads a little bit, because now you're wondering, what are we in for? Worked all week to try and limit the big play ability that he possesses, and he winds up taking one to the house in the very first quarter. That was a tremendous run.
And he covered a lot of ground on that one, as evidenced by the final total there on Next Gen Stats. Tucker with the extra point, and it's now a 7-0 game. Those are the ones the offensive coordinators dream about. One-play drives from that distance. What an effort. It results in the touchdown. Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown. Taken at the goal line. The lane opens here. He's past the 30. And a good effort on the return there. Gets him across the 30 up to the 33. Now on the return here, we've got an injured player down there. We'll get a report when we return to Foxborough. So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. Throwing Jones.
Oh, into a sea of defenders and intercepted.
Picked off by the Pro Bowler, Marcus Peters. And he's able to take this one back to the 36-yard line. They could not ask for a worse start. You give up a touchdown on the game's opening drive, and then you turn right around and throw the interception on your very first play.
And this is where the coaching staff has to earn its money because they've got to calm these guys down a little bit. Just as you noted, a horrendous start both sides of the ball. But now the defense, which gave up an opening drive touchdown, they've got to go out there now and start playing like the team they want to be.
After the interception, here's Jackson. And he works his way past the line of scrimmage and then slides to a halt. He'll get 3 yards on the scramble there. It's 2nd down.
He certainly had plenty of success running the ball, and right now I'm getting this sense that he's looking to take off and run every time he steps back to throw it.
But they did a nice job there collapsing on him and holding him to a short gain. And he stopped immediately there. No gain on the play, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down. You don't see that a ton, do you? Or the cornerback coming over to the middle of the field to make a run tackle.
That's someone with a ton of confidence to feel like nothing is pressuring him on his side of the field. Sees that the ball's moved to the middle and just sprints over there to help out. He ends up getting the tackle. Well played.
And he's unable to haul it in, so it falls incomplete over the middle third of the field, and that brings up 4th.
They certainly had good starting field position on that drive, but couldn't do anything with it after 3 plays. Have to admit that that's a disappointing end to excellent field position. When that drive started, they had 6 points that they were thinking about.
Tucker's kick is good, and the lead moves to 10-zip. They got the interception, but very little movement after, and that forces him to settle for 3. And it does feel like settling when that happens, doesn't it?
It certainly does, but we got to give a lot of credit where it's due, and that's to the defense because they ran onto the field. This is what we call sudden change, right? Interception, you've got to go put out the fire, and they did, holding them to a field goal.
So after the made field goal, 10-0 here early as the kick's away. And this taken in at the goal line. And the decision to come out of the end zone is going to cost him 5 yards as he's taken down right at the 20. And here comes Mac Jones and the rest of the Patriot offense. And he'll need to find a way to shrug off the opening drive, if you can even call it a drive. 1 play and an interception, so he's got to forget that.
I know that in today's football, we have a good number of coaches who don't look at time of possession the way that the old school guys did, but there's still a place for it. And I think that on this drive, after having thrown that interception, they're going to want to eat up a little bit more clock and run some offense and give their defense a little bit of a break.
Well, partner, I don't think it's any secret that any running back wants to be able to see a hole open so that he can gallop through it. But in this case, he had to slow down. There was really no hole there, and he took a big hit in order to get that 1 yard.
On 2nd and 9, Jones. And he goes down. The Ravens able to get to him. Like a freight train off the edge, Calais Campbell with a sack. I don't care if you're taking it in round 1, you're undrafted, whatever. As a rookie quarterback in this league, you're going to have games where you face adversity like this.
Lessons. All the time you're going to face these lessons. The key for this guy is, will he be able to bounce back in the next one? Because right now, this has not been his game.
Work now for Jones and the Patriots here after the sack. It's 3rd and long. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. That's going to be caught. It's Jacoby Myers. And he'll be taken down, but they've got this one up to the 35-yard line.
You can almost hear the sigh of relief coming from their sideline and from their point on the field, because this has been a tough start for them thus far. A much-needed first down there. They needed something good to happen. Plays like that will continue to help them dig out of this hole.
Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Now Jones. His throw incomplete.
From the snap, he certainly looked like he knew where he wanted to go with the ball, but surprise, that guy was covered. So that took his attention elsewhere to no avail.
An incomplete pass on 1st down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. To throw again, Jones. And that falls to the ground, incomplete. Well, a nice job of bodying him up defensively, and now it brings up 3rd down.
That's what you're going to need to do against those big receivers. You got to get in there and get physical with them. That time he got in close, got in tight, and knocked the ball away.
So back-to-back incompletions, and that has him staring at a 3rd and 10. They'll look to throw again. Under pressure, and down he goes. He could not get away that time, and it'll be a loss of 11 on 3rd down. We had a pretty good idea that they were going to pressure this young quarterback, and that's now 2 sacks here in the 1st quarter.
And, yeah, this is a secret to exactly nobody, because if you're a rookie quarterback, you know you're going to see pressure. Defenses want to see how you're going to handle it, or if it forces you into making bad decisions. That's their goal.
The Patriots send out their punter as he's on to punt for the first time this afternoon. A 40-yard punt, 1 yard on the return, and the Ravens, they'll take over. And now Baltimore gets set to take the field. They're looking sharp, out early to a 10-zip lead and looking for more as they've got it 1st and 10. They'll start on the ground with Dobbins. Lawrence Guy able to bring him down.
All right, Brand, I know we're in the early going here, but those kind of runs, they're going to open up a world of opportunities for this offense going forward.
Second down and 5. From the gun, Jackson. Open man is Duvernay. And he'll be out of bounds after getting this one across the 40.
Let's make this one simple. What a catch, especially the finishing part of getting his feet in bounds, toe tapping, and, of course, foot dragging.
Little tapestry, if you will.
Oh, I like it.
They'll try to run for it with Dobbins. And he's got the first down as he's up to the 45-yard line.
Just about every coach we talk to says the crowd shouldn't affect us. That shouldn't be an issue. And then the next breath they talk about taking the crowd and taking them out of the game by picking up first downs and keeping them at bay. I think we just saw an example of that there, didn't we?
Important to do, especially early in the game like they have. Now Dobbins. Oh, nice move at midfield. And he'll take it across the 50 and into New England territory. It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4.
Offensive linemen love creating space for their guys carrying the ball. But when that guy also breaks tackles and creates extra yardage, they almost feel like he's one of them, and they really embrace him.
From just shy of midfield, Jackson. That's taken in by Duvernay. And he's got another first down as the tackle's going to be made at the Patriots 35. 10-0 the score after one on EA Sports. Raven football here as we begin quarter number 2. Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. They run the option here on 1st and 10. And they're able to get this one past the 30 down to the 25. Now after the running play, we've got a man down on the field. We'll get a report when we return to Foxborough. Jackson going to run again. Only a yard on the keeper, and it'll be 2nd down.
Anytime you decide to use your quarterback as a runner, most of the time when you design a play, you're expected to break a little bit bigger than this one, because when you run him on short gains, your risk reward and him taking hits, I'm not sure that's the payoff they were looking for.
On 2nd and 9, Jackson. And he's going to go down. He's sacked back at the 24. At that time, finally a measure of revenge as they get him down behind the line.
It almost felt like relief, didn't it? Because with the success he's had throughout this game, you'd almost expect him to get free and pick up 10 to 15 every time he takes off. Not in that case. That has to feel good for the defense.
Now play number 8 on this drive, and they need 9 yards to pick up the first on 3rd. Here's Jackson to throw. That is caught. Rashad Bateman. And brought down, but not before they get it inside the 10 to the 7.
Well, so much for holding them to a field goal. The pressure they got home on the previous play didn't hear, and that bought their quarterback some time to find a receiver, and it sets up a 1st and goal.
They'll run with Dobbins. Showed off the footwork, but still corralled shy of the 5 at the 6. It's a gain of a yard, and it'll set up 2nd and goal.
Well, every now and then we have to let a cliche fly, partner. And in this case, what do they say in the NFL? Your best ability is often your availability. And this is an extremely durable kid coming out of Ohio State. Carried the ball every time they even thought about running it. Wore down defenses and able to break big runs late in games. J.K. Dobbins going to Baltimore, an absolute perfect fit.
And a minuscule gain of maybe a yard from the 6 to the 5. 2 straight shots on the ground. Now on 3rd, do you go to the air?
I think the possibility exists, and if you're doing it, you're probably going play action since you ran it twice. But I often think that 2nd down is a time you go play action and throw the ball. I say commit to the run and think about it being 4-down territory.
3rd and goal, Jackson. Eluding the pressure right. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Ravens touchdown. Lamar Jackson with his 2nd touchdown here in this first half as the Ravens push further out in front. Well, that was all Lamar Jackson all the time on that drive, both through the air and in the end with the touchdown run.
Yeah, how about him doing things a little bit on the reverse side there, Brandon, because he softened him up throwing the football and opened up the running lanes. And when he gets a little bit of a sliver, he's gone. And that's exactly what he did there.
Now Tucker to add the PAT. He's got it, and it's 17-0. So that drive, 12 plays in length. And it was capped off by the touchdown run that came from Lamar Jackson. Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown.
Here's Jones to bring it out of the end zone. And he will make it back to the 15, and that's it. Good coverage there by the kick team. The Patriot offense back out, getting set to go.
And it's been a rocky start for them thus far. They had the turnover and then the punt on those first two drives.
So there is optimism because they've improved, right? Turnover, you just noted it on the first drive.
Punt's better than the turnover.
The punt is better on the second one. Now they're hoping to turn it into first downs and hopefully points.
Meanwhile, Jones' throw there complete to Myers.
And he works it across the 25 before being tackled.
When you're struggling on offense, you're looking for anything possible to get you going. Sometimes you do it like basketball teams that don't normally press. You put a press on, bring people to life, make them move a little bit quicker. Maybe that'll help them as they head towards the half.
Hey, that QB's trash. Let's go.
First down, here's White. And not a whole lot doing there as he'll get it up to about the 28-yard line.
Linebacker Patrick Queen bringing him down. But not much on that run, Charles.
No, that's exactly the way to execute a run blitz there. They guessed correctly that they would move the ball on the ground, honed in on it, and stopped them. Mark that down for a win in the defense's column.
On 2nd and 9, Jones.
And that nearly intercepted. It's incomplete. Now, remember, he had a pick earlier, but couldn't reel that one in.
And he's only hit on 2 of his first 6 passes. Time for a quick quarterback regroup here with a big third down coming up.
After an incomplete pass on 2nd down, that'll leave him trying to convert on 3rd and 9. Looking to throw. Jones. This is White on the screen. And this effort will not get it done. He stopped well short of the first down at the 29. They'll get only a yard out of that, and it'll bring up 4th down. The Patriots send out their punter as he'll kick it away for the 2nd time. Fair catch signaled for and taken just shy of the 30-yard line. Yeah, call it 38 yards on the punt, no return.
Baltimore about ready to go on offense.
They have to be pleased with the way that they've moved the football thus far.
And why wouldn't they be? 2 touchdowns on a field goal in their first 3 possessions. They're playing so well right now, the field goal probably feels like a disappointment.
They'll throw on 1st down with Jackson. He's going to loft it deep right sideline. And that is caught on the right sideline, but out of bounds, says the line judge. The throw took him a little too far at 2nd down.
Well, their first 2 drives yielded touchdowns, so there's no reason for them to feel like they have to pull back on the reins. They pushed it downfield, looking for another one right there. Didn't get it, but we know they're going to continue to be bold.
Throwing again on 2nd and 10. Jackson. Flush to his right, and he'll slide to a halt here, still a little shy of the first down marker. 6 yards there off the scramble, but it'll still leave him with a 3rd down.
Well, we've seen Jackson already have success in the first half running the football, and he gets good yardage on the ground again there. I mean, I know it's a $64,000 question, CD, but how do they contain him better?
You have to win against the blockers ahead of you. If those guys even occupy a defender for even a half a second, then Lamar Jackson is gone. You've got to take those blockers and move them so that you have clear vision of Lamar Jackson, and hopefully you can hem him in.
The Ravens send their punter out now as he's on here to punt it away. .40 yards on the punt, 2 on the return, and the Patriots take over. Getting set to go again on offense, here's Devontae Parker now. Looking down at the stats here, realizing he has no catches. They've targeted him twice, but no catches. So how do they get him more involved, Charles?
You make sure he touches it on routes that he likes to run, maybe even run a reverse or some type of a jet sweep so he gets his hands on the ball and get him active and involved in the game. You just try and find ways to get him going, and it doesn't have to be something that's big downfield.
Maybe kind of like in basketball, just a shooter seeing the ball go through, you get him a rep, get him more comfortable.
I agree with that totally. Maybe set that solid screen and give him an easy look.
Well, to this point, no catches. So the incompletion, and now it's 2nd and 10, again from the 25-yard line. Back to throw. Jones. That's complete into the hands of Myers. Now the Patriots will use the second of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with a little over 50 seconds to go in the first half. The coverage unit out there thinking pass on 3rd and 3. Off the play fake. Jones. And the Raven pressure too much. Down he goes. Now the Ravens going to use one of their timeouts as the clock's going to stop with 47 seconds to go in half number 1. The Patriots send out their punter as he'll come on to kick this one away. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. It's a 42-yard punt. They keep him to just a yard on the return. And out will come the offense as they take over. The football back over to Baltimore and J.K. Dobbins. It's the second quarter. His team has the lead, but I think he's hoping for a little bit more production out of himself.
And we often talk about preaching patience to a runner when things are a little bumpy in the early going, but we have to do the same thing with the offensive line. They can't wait to halftime to make the adjustments. They have to do it from series to series. So those surface tablets come into play. Check out what the defense is doing and see if they can find a better way to run it.
So they search for that patience here now. So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on first down. Jackson from the shotgun. And this throw incomplete. Well, the defender all over him that time, and it's going to lead to 3rd down.
Oftentimes when you're losing a game and the team's still throwing with this kind of a lead, you start playing a little more physically. And they took that opportunity right there to be extremely physical and force that incompletion.
Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions. This time they stay on the ground. And they'll indeed stop him on 3rd down. And now what do you want to do with your timeouts? Now a timeout called for by the defense as they'll stop it with 25 seconds to go here in half number 1. The Ravens send their punter out now as he'll punt it away for the second time. 44 on his first punt, and this is a good kick as well. A 40-yard punt, 5 yards on the return, and control of the football switching hands with very little time remaining until the half. Here comes Mac Jones and the rest of the Patriot offense. And I guess the question, Charles, is what's the formula for keeping him better protected? Because as we see, the protection, it struggled.
And normally what you get is renewed determination. When the big guy gets hit, that usually sparks people. Hey, we can't let this happen anymore. They take it personally. He's not supposed to be on the ground, but that hasn't been the case so far in this game. So maybe they've got to figure out how do they get rid of the ball faster to help out the offensive line so he doesn't get hit as much.
And we'll see if they can keep him off the ground now going forward. A good pickup, but it will come on what should be the final play in this first half. So we have reached halftime here with the visiting Ravens out in front. As we'll get you down the coast to Orlando for Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much, and welcome in everyone to an abbreviated version of the EA Sports Halftime Report. First, let's get a check on the next-gen stats from that first half for the Ravens. And a big part of their success on the scoreboard is their success in the running game. Over 100 yards as a team in those first 2 quarters of play. Meanwhile, for the Patriots, there's a look at what they were able to do throwing the football. And they'll need to get things in gear as they trail here at the break.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. The Patriots trailing here, but they will have the football first as the third quarter is underway. And this will come out to the 25 as Jones elects for the touchback. The Patriots taking over to start quarter number 3. And you have to think, Charles, down 3 scores already. They need to play an almost perfect second half to have a solid chance.
And that absolutely starts with finding some way to put together a touchdown drive here. They need to be smart, fast, efficient, get the ball into the end zone, and do it again multiple times in order to have a chance to win this game.
And he sneaks his way forward only for a couple here. Second down.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is a force of nature at the defensive tackle position. Yes, he's as big as they come, but still plenty agile. He's able to make a nice play there to swallow up the ball carrier.
The last run got a couple. Here's 2nd and 8. Looking to throw. Jones. Open man is Myers. That throw good for only a couple. It brings up 3rd down. They should have got more out of that, though. He was wide open.
I love how emphatic you are with that call because that's exactly what I was thinking. Wide open in the flat. Give him a ball that he can use to get upfield with, not just catch and go over the sideline. They cost themselves some yardage there.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. Back to throw. Jones. And that's going to be incomplete. The contact there enough to jar that ball free, and it brings up 4th down. Another drive comes and goes, still nothing on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and when the second half comes, you know, it's real easy to get discouraged and wonder if you're ever going to get things started. But you just got to fight through it. Got to keep pounding away.
The Patriots send out their punter as he'll punt it away for the 4th time today. A 40-yard punt, no return, and the offense will take over with a new set of downs. The Ravens offense getting ready now for their first possession of the second half. This crew had to punt last time they had the ball, but when you've got a lead like this, you can attempt to play the field position game.
You are to an extent, especially if you like your defense, because you have the lead, you've been controlling the game. But why put them in a tougher spot? You want to get out there and get something done on offense and maybe take command of this game yourself.
A gain of 6 there on 1st.
I do have to admit, I like it when it all comes together. When the top part, catching the football, right, whether you're catching it with your hands or cradling it, comes together with the legs, in this case the feet, doing a little toe tap to stay in bounds and complete the catch.
And a great job by our crew on the camera shot. Love when you see the grass or on the field turf, those rubber pellets flying up. Great catch. Now, they struggled to get him rolling on the ground in the first half, and that's sort of continuing here in the third quarter.
Yeah, but I don't think it's time to abandon the running game. I would say keep feeding the horse, and I believe he'll eventually reward them, especially as we get deeper in the game.
It's going to be a long day. It's going to be a long day.
They'll run the option on third and short yardage. Boy, no chance as he was met and dropped behind the line there. Tough sledding. They lose a yard there on third.
Just a simple run play there on 3rd and 1, but this D was up to the challenge and stopped them, bringing up 4th down.
The Ravens send their punter out now as he's on to kick it away. It'll be 37 yards there on the punt, and possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. New England trying to get a place on offense. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
Well, you know how in baseball when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? Well, a lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
And he is going to lose yardage here. He was unable to shake free there, and they'll cover him for a loss of a yard.
In today's NFL, we're accustomed to the tight end getting downfield and creating plays and wreaking a little havoc in the secondary. Not on this one, though. They diagnosed that one really well.
Tried the dump off, lost yardage.
You can't block me. You can't block me. You can't block me.
Looking to throw again on 2nd down. Jones got a man open. That's Devontae Parker, complete. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down.
Well, we talk all the time about playing situational football, and right now I think the scoreboard is dictating what they need to do. Where they are in this game, they've got to push the ball downfield, take their shots, try and get big chunks of yardage in a short amount of time. That was a nice play there.
Here we go. Cougar 19. Hey, check back.
Here's Jones throwing on 1st down. And that one drops down, incomplete. Good coverage there, forced the ball free, and it's 2nd down.
I'm getting the sense that this offense is getting frustrated. Here we are into the 3rd quarter, and they've had plenty of opportunities to get in sync. Thus far, that hasn't happened. They're looking for answers both on the sidelines and in the huddle looking at each other.
On 2nd down, they'll run with White. He'll get 3 up to midfield. Pretty good little 2-play sequence there. You force the incompletion, then a very short pickup.
Yeah, now maybe you bring in an extra defensive back or two because you want to try and defend on 3rd down. They like to play those nickel or sub packages, don't they?
Here we go, set. 18 Cardinal.
From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. And this is going to be incomplete.
Sometimes it's just not your day. There's another failure right there on 3rd down.
The Patriots send out their punter. He'll boot it away from about his 35. And he'll get off a fairly short kick here as this is toward the sideline. And no return possible here as they angle this one out of bounds. And Baltimore's offense set for this next possession. And now you've got the clock winding down here in the 3rd quarter. You're 3 scores to the good. What's your approach on this drive?
Too early to fully commit to playing the clock game. Yet at the same time, you're also not going pell-mell like you would in 2-minute offense. This is what NFL offenses call 4-minute football. Take the clock out of the game a little bit, wind it down, but at the same time, keep advancing the ball down the field. And after that completion, you can understand why so many teams in the league are emphasizing speed on defense at every position. The tight ends have created so many tough matchups now. If you can't run with a tight end as a linebacker, this is going to be the result every time.
Hey, report.
Option play, and they'll hand to Dobbins. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. That'll be a loss of a yard, and it leads to a third down.
Sometimes with the running game, you've just got to stick with it. Look, it's the third quarter, no time to panic. But that also doesn't mean you just do it the same way you've been doing it the entire ball game. Maybe change up some blocking assignments or run a few different plays, but stay with the overall essence of the running game.
Jackson with a handoff to Dobbins on the option. And Dobbins, he is not going to get there. They stop him short of the line to gain. Just a yard on the run there, and that's going to bring us to a fourth down.
In order to play really good run defense when you're playing a 3-4, those three guys up front, the nose tackle and the guys they call the defensive ends, they're usually big people because they're going to have to eat up a lot of blockers because it's usually 5-on-3. And when they do their job well, guys who play on the inside, those inside linebackers, they're able to just roam and hit.
The Ravens send their punter out now as he's on here to punt it away. So a change of possession here on the punt. New England's offense set to go. And here we are almost through 3 quarters of play, and this passing game still has not really found any kind of rhythm.
Put it mildly, because they're not even over 100 yards yet. And in today's NFL, where it's a pass-first league, that is quite surprising. Not many teams patient enough to stick with the run. Everybody wants to advance the ball through the air. They've got to get their timing back.
And he'll be out of bounds at the 25-yard line. So the completion good for 7 there, and it'll bring up a second down.
Right there, 56. I'm trying to collect.
And as they come to the line, they will not be able to get off another play as time has run out on this third quarter. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports.
Hey, man, watch the boot, watch the boot.
Throwing again on second down. Jones throwing the out route incomplete. That's Myers. And he'll have it past midfield almost to the 40 before being taken down. A big play there for the Patriots.
At this stage, there's nothing left to do but to keep firing. And if you're a play caller, you may go off your sheet and use some things maybe you hadn't planned to in this game. Maybe that was one of them there that worked.
So the big play gets him across midfield now for 1st and 10.
Hey, check back.
Looking to throw. Jones. Harris has it over the middle. And this winds up a pickup of 2, maybe 2.5 to about the 39.
All defenses worry that whenever anyone catches the ball and has a head of steam come out of the backfield, it could turn into a big play with missed tackles or he runs through people. But they were right there waiting, and they stopped him for a minimal gain.
8 yards to go on second down.
Here we go, let's bring it. Let's bring it.
Back to throw. Jones. Hunter Henry brings it in. And he gets us down inside the 35 before going out of bounds. 6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a third down.
Watch tight end. Tight end's right. Tight end's right. 3 down.
They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. And he held on to it too long. A coverage sack. Down he goes. He could not get away that time, and it'll be a loss of 11 on third down. And you hate to say it with a rookie quarterback. He's done some good things, but overall, looked a little bit overwhelmed back there, hasn't he?
He certainly has. But in his defense, he hasn't had a lot of time to throw the football. You like the way I said that? In his defense.
In his defense. I got it.
You see what I did there?
Yeah, he needs better protection, that's for sure. Now look at this, 4th and 12, and they're going to line up to go for it. Got to try it here. He's back to throw. Oh, he's going to let this go for the end zone. Parker's got it for a Patriots touchdown. A great play there. 44 yards. And the Patriots are finally on the board here in the fourth quarter. We saw this plenty last year in college. He loved to take his shots downfield, and that throw, that was a thing to behold there.
And give him credit. He deserves it. But this is such a breakdown defensively, my goodness. From a pass rush perspective, you know that they got to be coming hard on fourth down trying to get to the quarterback. But from a coverage perspective, how do you not see that play developing? And it turns into a touchdown.
And that one spanning an even 65 yards in the air, according to Next Gen Stats.
Let's go, baby.
So take away the touchdown there, as that's going to be ruled an incomplete pass. They'll run with Edwards here to begin the drive. And he'll take it across the 50 and into New England territory. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where it'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
And he's going to get this down near the 30-yard line.
Let's go, boys. Let's go.
Well, I tell you, there is no antidote for speed, even at the quarterback position, as he keeps it himself and turns it into good yardage.
And it still takes time for a defender to react, even as quarterbacks carry the ball more and more in today's NFL. They're still a little bit in disbelief and realize, oh my goodness, he's running with the ball. He may be 8, 10, 12 yards downfield at that point.
So signs of life in what's been a dormant offense in this second half. Here's 1st and 10. Again, Jackson will keep it. And he'll be a little shy of the 25 here at the 26-yard line. It'll be a pickup of 5 on the keeper. It's 2nd down. Now that's what he can do, when he keeps the football. It's not a huge gain, but it shows how hard it can be to stop him.
Yeah, and I thought the defense had that one pretty well contained. And in fact, they probably came up and felt pretty good about what they did. Then they looked up and realized he still got good yardage out of it. He's a tough guy to stop.
On 2nd down, a run with Dobbins. And he'll be tackled at the 23 after a gain of 3. 2 minutes left to play in this football game here on EA Sports. So it's Raven football here as we welcome you back. They've got a 3rd down now as they look for one more 1st down to help salt this one away. They'll try and run for the 1st with Edwards. And down inside the 15 he goes. Starting to become a tough spot for this defense. You're down 4th quarter, looking a little fatigued maybe on that side of the ball.
Partner, we've seen this before, haven't we? Because every coach we've ever talked to says body language is important. And now you're seeing guys with their hands on their hips, they're bent over, hands on their knees. And the offensive guys are just saying, let's just keep running it at them. We've got them now.
Not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. Here's Edwards. And he'll be taken down here at about the 11. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
Now that's a mountain of a man that just made that stop, isn't it? But he's more than that. This guy's nimble and quick. More than a space eater. He just made a great play there.
Now it's 2nd and 9. Jackson on the give to Dobbins. And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. No gain on the play there, so that doesn't help. Now they're looking up at a 3rd and 9 situation. He can rack up those tackles in bunches in the run game from that middle linebacker spot.
And what he has to do is make sure he congratulates the guys in front and tells them thanks a lot, because as the guy in the middle, the Mike linebacker, you're counting on your front 3, your front 4, your front 5, whatever you've got in front of you to take up all the blocking, allow you to roam and hit. And that's what he did on that play.
So the final seconds tick away in this Baltimore victory, and they did it in shutout fashion. Impressive.
Would it be too bland of a statement to say they didn't have the greatest day offensively? I mean,
did enough, though. Did enough. But, yeah, you're right.
Most games, it wouldn't have been enough. So they've got to go into the locker room and applaud their defensive mates and say, guys, you really carried us today. We'll try and get you back next time. But as for today, you guys were nails out there.